media has confirmed that Iran's top supreme leader has been dead. Remember, there was no confirmation after Donald Trump had said that he has been killed. But now confirmation that has come in from the media of Iran. They have confirmed that the man that you can see on the screen, that is the top supreme leader of Iran, he has been killed in the airstrikes, is what we are learning. On that, let me go across to consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary. Good morning, Srinjoy. Do take us through what the Iranian media is saying, because after Donald Trump said that Iran's supreme leader has been killed, there was no confirmation. They were denying this fact, and now the media there is confirming that he, in fact, is dead.
Ali Khamenei is dead, is what the Iranian media is saying. Now, this is something US President Donald Trump had said a while ago, but there was silence from the Iranian side. Then we heard that family members, daughter, son-in-law, grandson, some family members had been killed. That was the first acknowledgement of casualties of members of Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader's family. Now we are hearing from the Iranian media that yes, the supreme leader Ali Khamenei was killed in one of the airstrikes yesterday. This is the first time such information is coming out. Iran is acknowledging the fact that their supreme leader was killed in one of the airstrikes. Now, President Trump has said this a little while ago. We had photographs of Ali Khamenei's house in ruins after it was struck by missiles in the raid, one of the early raids yesterday. Now we hear that Ali Khamenei, supreme leader of Iran for a couple of decades, has been killed in the fighting. This is the first time that the Iranian side is acknowledging that Khamenei has been killed in the fighting. This is an important moment. First, of course, the fact that this has happened. The next issue is what happens now? Will there be a successor? And what will the successor do vis-a-vis America and Israel? Now, this is something that is very concerning, and this is the crucial moment in the war. Iran has acknowledged that Ali Khamenei is dead. So if Ali Khamenei is dead, then what is the succession? And if there is a succession, and there will certainly be, what is the plan? What is the government of Iran's plan vis-a-vis this fighting? Will they continue fighting? Will there be a ceasefire? These are things that will probably be decided today. We will get to know later in the day. But the important fact, the most important point now, is that Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, has been killed in the fighting, has been killed in one of the airstrikes. And this is something that Donald Trump had said a while ago. But this is something the Iranians are saying right now.
All right, so Iran's supreme leader, his daughter and a son-in-law have also been killed, is a confirmation that we're getting for you. And this is very consequential because now it remains to be seen who the successor will be. Let me go across to former diplomat KB Fabian. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. Yesterday, Donald Trump had hinted that he wants a regime change as far as Iran is concerned. Now it appears that he has taken one step towards that. Iran's supreme leader, his family members have been killed. Your take on that?
Well, this is, of course, an important development, but it doesn't mean that we are looking at the beginning of the end of this conflict unleashed by President Trump when he was in negotiations with Iran, and Oman's foreign minister had come and met the Vice President of the United States. Now, most commentators seem to be forgetting that. But basically, it is Netanyahu's war, and Netanyahu has succeeded in making Trump join him. Now, regarding Khamenei's death, it's a very serious matter, but that doesn't mean the regime there has started to collapse. the IRGC may take over, or there may be another successor. What might happen, and that is what Netanyahu wants, is chaos. When he speaks of regime change, actually what he wants is Iran in chaos, with the Kurds, the Baluchis, and others rebelling. And then Israel will be the hegemon in the region. That is the aim, and they are getting closer to it, but whether they will reach, I do not know.
Absolutely. So it remains to be seen who the successor will be, how the situation will be as far as Iran is concerned. Yesterday, Donald Trump hinted that he wants a regime change. And now it appears that he has taken a step towards that with the killing of Iran's top and supreme leader. Let me also go across to foreign affairs expert Patikrit Pain. Thanks so much for connecting with us. How do you read into this? Because the Iran's supreme leader has been killed. His family has been killed. We're learning that several military officials have also been killed. As far as the Israel and US strikes and the war on Iran is concerned, what happens now that he has been killed? Whether there will be a succession? How easy will it be to find a successor for Iran's supreme leader?
Well, I think they knew somewhat the other time there would be situation like this, and I think internally they have a succession plan in place. However, it is not easy to replace the stature of Khamenei, given the kind of influence, the kind of aura he had within Iran. But if you look what happened yesterday when Iran declared that there are no more red lines in this war, and the kind of attack that they were doing in many other Sunni Arab states in the vicinity, that was kind of an indication that something has happened which has ensured that Iran is going all out against not just Israel but many of the Sunni Arab states where you have American bases and who are allies of United States. That was an indication that something may have happened, which was perhaps not the case last time. Last time means when U.S. actually attacked the nuclear installations in probably June 2025. So from here onwards, we have to understand that, look, Iran has its own limitations. It doesn't have an air force or a navy, but it does have a huge arsenal of ballistic missiles and hypersonic missiles. So it would try to, do all kinds of attacks on Israel and many of the Sunni Arab states. We have to wait and watch for how long they can continue, because there is a limitation, because there are you can call rivals. There are different groups who have been opposed to the regime within the country. Whether they take advantage of this situation and go ahead, that we have to see. But however, if you look at countries like Iraq, Saddam Hussein was very powerful internally. However, after Saddam Hussein was taken away from the entire thing, it wasn't easy for Iraq to continue fighting. So similarly, in case of Iran, even though it is a huge country, it has a huge population, it has a strategic depth, it has a military. However, to replace Khamenei and to have that kind of a control on everything, it would not be easy. Even though I'm sure there is a succession plan in place, they knew somewhat the other time something like this may happen, and therefore they would have an SOP in place.
All right. Thank you so much for getting us all those details and your perspective on this. Let me also go across to Shashi Asthana, retired Major General. Thanks so much for connecting with us. What's your assessment of how the situation is going to pan out and, in fact, who the successor is going to be now that Iran's supreme leader has been killed?
See, this was expected. I think Khamenei himself would have expected that they are going to target him. So there would be a succession plan, and in that succession plan, I think there were a couple of names already. I believe his advisor was one of them, although it doesn't come from the cleric community. But there could be another cleric as well. But there are two issues in this. One is how effective the next guy will be. That will remain to be seen. Secondly, there could be a part tussle as well, because normally what happens is when a leader of this stature goes, there could be 2-3 contenders, and there can be a problem within the contenders themselves. But notwithstanding that, I think because Iran knew that Khamenei is at risk, they would have made a plan, and they would have already worked it out during Khamenei's lifetime. So that is one part of it. Secondly, I don't think the fighting will have any major impact because, as I said, the plan was already there of Khamenei's succession. But the issue is that in such a case, because of the stature of Khomeini, it will take a little turbulence in leadership to come up and be as effective as he was. Now, I think we will have to see as to how the fighting is going to continue. There could be an escalation even by Iran because Khomeini's death would have triggered a little more, shall I say, resilience in the hardliners of Iran. And they could go all out for various other strikes as well. So there could be an escalation both ways. I don't visualize that because of his death, Iran will give up. I don't think so.
All right, so it remains to be seen in the coming hours whether or not there will be the escalation of the war between the nations and how the situation will really pan out, who will be the successor now that Iran's supreme leader has been killed. Thanks so much, sir, for connecting with us and bringing your perspective on this. Let me once again go back to my colleague Rishabh, who's been tracking all the details. Rishabh, many experts are saying that there could now be escalation of the war between Israel, Iran and the United States now that Iran's supreme leader has been killed, because he was not just the supreme leader but also regarded as one of the religious leader there in that region.
Well, Akashi, this is what we were discussing earlier today, that there is a succession plan that is already in place, and for this very hour that we are talking in, Iran have had a succession plan, not one-fold or two-fold, at least four folds is what we are given to understand. Military leadership, cabinet members, the government members, Supreme Council members, Supreme Leader, everyone had a successor nominated, agreed and approved of in advance of, and for this very hour these exercises were done in Tehran. There are military leaders who act on their own, do not look at Tehran when it comes to emergency. But now that escalation will, further increases, that many experts suggest, and the reason is very clear. Israel and US will not like the successor. The state media now has confirmed that Khamenei, the supreme leader, is dead, which means the new supreme leader would have already been put in place. Now that the new supreme leader takes over and consolidates his power in Iran, Israel and US would not like that to happen, and that's the reason.
We've seen who the next successor will be, but Rishabh, we're learning that Iran's supreme leader, his daughter, his son-in-law have been killed in the airstrikes. Do we know anything about where and how these strikes were carried out by Israel or the United States?
Well, as of now, the current exact location where the hit was taken has not been confirmed by either Israel or United States, and neither Iran has come up with any such statement that where exactly this happened. There is a statement that has come in on Fast News, IRNA News, the state and semi-state channels in Iran, but as of now, the exact location has not been revealed. Remember, the first strike that took place was on the office and residence of the supreme leader in downtown Tehran. Looks like that was the strike that ended, and the way Iran has reacted since then, in a way now joins the dots that the reason this whole diversification of attack has happened. Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi, except Oman, everything in West Asia has been bombed by Iran, and this showcases that it could be an immediate reaction to the killing of Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. So now we'll have to wait for more details to come in.
Absolutely.
This is a confirmation that has come in from the state media. We haven't heard from the president also. Is he alive or not? Again, a question mark now, because still last moment it was being defended that Ali Khamenei is alive. Now that his death has been confirmed by the state media, where is the president? Is he alive or not? What happens to the military chief? What happens to the defense minister? The foreign minister is alive. That we know. He was in Geneva. He came back or not? That is again a question. Where he is right now, it's not confirmed. So a lot of ifs and buts have now arisen, given that Khamenei has been killed. So now from here on, apart from how the conflict goes, what the succession plan is something that everyone would like to keep an eye on. US and Israel will try and destabilize the succession plan to ensure that the Islamic regime in Iran is disrupted and put to halt. So remains to be seen how things unfold and what happens. Suddenly, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, Pahlavi, all are right now that Khamenei is dead.
All right, because experts are of the opinion that the war will only escalate because now the Iran Supreme Leader has been killed. But stay on with us, Rishabh. We have another big breaking coming in, a confirmation where the Iran Supreme Leader has been killed. In fact, that's a confirmation that is coming from Iranian media. They have said that Iran Supreme Leader was killed at his office. So that's a big breaking update that is coming in fact, announcing Iran Supreme Leader's death, saying that he was killed in the early hours of Saturday at his office. Remember, there was attack on his office there yesterday, and now we're learning that he has been killed at his office.
پیش قراول امت اسلامی حضرت امام خامنه ای با نوشیدن شهد گوارای شهادت در ماه مبارک رمضان به ملکوت اعلی پیوست. شورای عالی امنیت ملی در این زمینه بیانیه‌ای به این شهر صادر کرده است. انا لله و انا الیه راجعون. ملت بزرگ ایران، روح بلند پیشوای ملت بزرگ ایران و پیشقراول امت اسلامی حضرت امام خامنه ای با نوشیدن شهد گوارای شهادت در ماه مبارک رمضان به ملکوت اعلی پیوست. شورای عالی امنیت ملی در این زمینه بیانیه‌ای به این شهر.
All right, so that's the moment of announcing of the killing of Iran's Supreme Leader by the Iranian authorities. So, Rishabh, a final confirmation that is coming from Iran that indeed, as far as Iran's Supreme Leader is concerned, he is dead.
Well, definitely, the Iranian Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is dead. This is something that now we can confirm to our viewers. Since last 6-7 hours, there were ifs and buts, while Trump and Netanyahu were claiming there weren't any proof out in open that he has been dead, and given the nature of conflict, many would take that with a pinch of salt. But now that the Iranian side has also confirmed that along with the family members, Ali Khamenei, the Supreme Leader of Iran, has been killed in the strikes that were led by US and Israel. So Operation Epic Fury has now, we can now confirm that Operation Epic Fury has taken the first hit, and the first hit is the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. This is something that we can confirm to our viewers. From here on, how the conflict goes on is something that is going to be very interesting. Israel and US would not like the next Supreme Leader, whoever succeeds Khamenei, to consolidate himself or settle himself down in a way to rule Iran for next few years or whatever regime time that he has. They will try and destabilize the regime now and ensure that the succession plan falls apart. So from here on, it's going to be intensified. Iran would try and disrupt West Asia. Cities like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or Kuwait City, or Doha would be disrupted for international pressure to mount on US and Israel. And Israel and US, on the other hand, would try and hit Iran as much as they can to ensure that the regime collapses as soon as possible.
All right, so we just showed you the moment of announcing the killing of the supreme leader of Iran on television, and that has been announced by Iranian Revolutionary Guard. They have said that this is a martyrdom of divine scholar at the hand of the terrorist, is what they have said. And the latest we're learning is that he has been eliminated by US and Israeli strikes at his office. So that's the latest as far as the Israel-US war on Iran is concerned. We're learning that the man there on the screen, Iran's supreme leader, has been killed. There was a strike at his office, and that's when he was killed, along with his daughter and son-in-law and several other family members who have already been killed as well. For more on this, let me go across to retired Major General Dhruv. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. How do you look at the situation that is unfolding right now? Till yesterday, there were only attacks, but now we're learning that Iran's supreme leader has been killed as far as Israel and US war on Iran is concerned. Your take on this and how the situation will pan out in the coming hours and also days?
I think this is a more significant development. The Iran state has already declared that the supreme leader is no more, and we don't have any reports or confirmation as to who the successor is going to be. Khamenei had not designated a successor earlier. The key thing is going to come out now is really the IRGC and its command and control structure. That is one. And number two is the people of Iran, because we have reports that a very large number of them have actually come out to the streets and they were celebrating early in the morning. Now, if the IRGC can maintain some sort of a structure, this war, I think, is likely to continue for some time. But I have a feeling now that things are going to stabilize to some extent. The UN peace, the case will be taken up to the UN, and some sort of a ceasefire may actually take place. Should the people come out in the streets in very large numbers, which will mean that the regime is overthrown.
So now it remains to be seen how the situation will pan out, but that's the latest that we're getting in for our viewers, that Iran's supreme leader has been eliminated. Thanks so much, sir, for getting us all those details and your perspective on this. So we're learning that, in fact, Iran's supreme leader has been killed. Remember earlier, just a while back, in fact, Donald Trump has said that he has been killed, but that time Iran was completely silent. And then one Israeli official also made this claim. And also on the other side, we're learning that Israel's prime minister just a while back said that there were many signs that Iran's supreme leader was no longer alive. But now we have a confirmation that is coming from Iran's Revolutionary Guard that has now confirmed that as far as Iran's supreme leader is concerned, he is no more. Also, let me go across to Lieutenant General Hussain, former Corps commander. Thanks so much, sir, for connecting with us. How do you look at the situation that's now unfolding in West Asia? We're learning that Iran's supreme leader has been killed as far as US and Israel is concerned. Your take on this?
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me for your program. As far as the situation is concerned, no doubt the killing of Ali Khamenei is a major development, and now that the confirmation has also come through, I think that one of the purposes of the war, in fact, the main purpose of the war, was regime change. Now, whether after the death of Ali Khamenei we can assume that a regime change will take place, I'm not very certain about that. Because we still have the hierarchy of the regular Iranian cabinet, headed by the president. We also have the entire IRGC and its structure, which is still very much intact. But what has happened is that the killing of Ali Khamenei, done masterfully with intelligence penetration deep inside the Iranian setup, will give the United States, and particularly Mr. Donald Trump, the solace that one of the major aims, that is the elimination of the supreme leader, has been achieved. And this will perhaps also assist bringing about a ceasefire, because a ceasefire without achieving a major aim may not have been possible under the circumstances.
All right, so that remains the situation as far as Iran is concerned. The top supreme leader has been killed in the airstrike at his office. office is what we're learning. Thanks so much, Lieutenant General Hasnain, for connecting with us and bringing your perspective on this. Let me go across to my colleague Rishabh, who's been tracking all the details. Rishabh, we're learning as far as Iran's Supreme Leader is concerned, he was at his office when the incident took place, when in fact, when he was struck. His family members, his daughter, his son-in-law and other family members have also been killed. What are you learning about what really happened there? When was he struck?
Well, what we're given to understand, Akansha, that yes, he was in the downtown Tehran office when the strike took place, and exactly the first pictures that we have seen of the black smoke coming out from the downtown Tehran was from his office, and that's where Ali Khamenei was killed, is what now we are given to understand. A 40-day mourning period has been announced by Iranian government now to mourn the death of the supreme leader. The succession plan has already been deployed, and you will hear the name of the new supreme leader very soon, or Iran would keep it under the wrap and only say that the new supreme leader has been has been now chosen and is in place of Ali Khamenei. The name might not come out given that the war is still on, and Iran would try and safeguard the next supreme leader, given that it might, if the identity and location is revealed, he might be the next target for US and Israel. So as General Hasnain is saying, that the way the reason for this war has been achieved, but is that the only reason for this war? That is something that's debatable. Many experts suggest that things will escalate from here. Many say that things will now from here calm down. But one thing is very clear, that uncertainties remain, and from here on we'll have to wait and see how Israel and US take things forward and how Iran takes things forward. Given that Iran has decided to open fronts with every GCC country in West Asia, it's not just Israel and US. We'll also have to see that what these countries do, because they haven't hit back at Iran as of now. They haven't if their payback time still remains. So that all is also something that we are all looking at. So we'll have to wait to understand how Iran, US, Israel and the GCC countries behave from here on.
All right, so it remains to be seen how the situation will pan out in the coming hours and also in the next few days as well. Stay on with us, Rishabh. We have another breaking update coming in, as you also told us that Iran